Welcome to Thinking Juice, the podcast where bad ideas get promoted and HR is just a suggestion. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Matthew.
Jesus Christ. Every week we crack open a fresh glass of Thinking Juice and dive into the wildest workplace stories imaginable. Funny work stories that make you mad and just pissed off to think about. Coworkers that make you mad and their weird stories about that as well. And work chaos and the worst imaginable day for everybody. So, if you survived a group chat that could have just been an email, or a manager who peaked in high school, or a job that took years off your life, congratulations. This is the show for you. So clock in, shut your brain off, and sip carefully, because these stories are 100% true, mostly legal, and definitely will not be HR approved. This is Thinking Juice. Matt, welcome.
Oh, welcome, Tyler.
Matt, do you want to start off with the first topic?
Absolutely. I got a question for you. So,
Sure.
what's your funniest workplace story that still makes you mad?
So, a long time ago, one of my literal first job at the Yellow M, I was like 16, and it was my first job, and I had got hired on just to make, a little extra cash, and I just was like basically sprouting facial hair, and you had to shave every day, and I worked there for exactly 2 days. First day I came in, I was trained how to do everything. Second day, I came in with like a little bit of like, not a 5 o'clock shadow, but like one or two like stray hairs on the chin, like this is my first beard hair, like leave it alone. And I was sent home to shave, and I came back on the third day and was told I didn't have a job anymore. That's
Just
sometimes.
because you had facial hair?
Yep. I sometimes think about that.
They didn't try to teach you how to shave? They're like, all right, Tyler, this is how we use a razor.
No, the town that I like graduated high school and got my first job at, let me tell you, that town's title is literally called the Crossroads to Adventure. There's nothing there, and to go anywhere for fun, you have to leave that place. So there was not much learning or educating or anything like that. Like, I'm pretty sure that town is the number one, like, distributing center for meth in the entire Missouri.
You're like, this is the one.
I'm like 95% sure. I'm just going to be so honest with you.
No. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
What about you?
Well, let's think. Funniest workplace story that still makes me mad. Not necessarily really makes me mad, but it's a funny story, at least. When I was working as a paramedic, I had picked up it's just like a basic transport. It was in the middle of the night, but I picked up this patient from the hospital and just taking them back to the state center. And if any listeners aren't familiar with what a state center is, it's when adults with mental handicaps, they get essentially kind of like disbanded by their family, because the government actually will take custody if you're not fit to take care of them by the time they turn 18. And so that's what a state center is, essentially. So anyways, we were taking this guy back. He was feeling better, and we were just putting him back into bed, and I was giving report to the nurse that was taking over the care, and I just feel somebody grab my hand, like just to hold my hand. And it was a very gentle, very small little hand, and I was like, okay, I kept doing my report because I know what kind of facility I'm in. And then I do look over, and then I just see this kid with his pants down, his underwear down, and he's just rubbing one out. Like,
Hey, man, you want to see my wiener?
yeah, for real. So he's just holding my hand, and he's just He's just having a go on himself. And I was like, it
Dude.
didn't make me mad, but it was a trip. Like I was just like, I didn't see that one coming, but I was like caught by left field. I didn't let him finish or anything, you know.
Come
But
on, man. You should have at least held his hand and
I
looked
know.
in his eyes and just been like, "You
I
got
felt
this, man.
guilty.
You're doing so good."
I honestly
You
let
just
him
spit in his
continue
hand.
until let me help you here, buddy. Yeah, no. But no, I just kept holding his hand, let him have a go at himself, and then, after I was done giving my report and got my signatures, I helped him pull his pants up and I took him back to his bed. But
Well, we all know what he
yeah.
was doing in his bed after you
Oh
left.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I don't even know because I'd seen him before, but I don't know. I guess he just decided like this is the day.
I'm gonna go
I'm
up there
taking
and jerk off on Mr. Madrid.
I'm taking the chance. I was like, I'm just gonna pull my car out and have a
That's
go
how they
at it.
used to do it in the early 17th century to get a wife, believe it or not.
You just walk up to him, hold their hand, and pull your dick out. It's like,
You
yes.
just start vigorously jerking off. You know,
Do you like what you see?
you you bring that up, but for a hot second, like I want to say it was like my third job that I ever had. I basically took care of um these two old guys,
Hmm.
and they were just super old. They were super sweet. They were super nice, and I cared for them. And I remember I was supposed to get my I think it was a Class E license or something like that, the ability to transport people, something like
Hmm.
that. And I got the paper copy, but I didn't get my physical copy yet. So the place that I worked for was just like, hey, straight up, dude, fuck you. You're going to a place where you don't need to drive these guys around because they don't need to be driven around. They're going to stay in their house all day. I'm like, cool, 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 cool. And the
Hmm.
house that I was working in, I worked overnights, and it was a sleep house, meaning you could go to sleep. You just had to kind of check up on the guys like every now and again. You didn't have to do routine like hourly checks or anything like that. You just you kind of like doze off. You set an alarm like halfway through your shift, and these were 10-hour shifts. So um, I went to bed probably at like 10. I would wake up at like 4 a.m., go check on them, make sure they were still alive, go back to bed. And then the morning guy would come in around 6, wake me up, and I would sign over my shift to him and then be out of there. Simple.
Yeah.
House that I went to, 12-hour shifts, 3 days a week, and I had to be up the entire time. And I worked the night shift. So I worked 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And these guys were out of control. Similar to your one of them was just a paraplegic that needed full attention. The other
Hmm.
one was like a grown ass man, but he was like 4 foot nothing and like had
Hmm.
every issue known to man. And I worked there for exactly 2 days. And the second day was the worst day of all because I got to the house and the woman that was scheduled to work was just nowhere to be found. She was just gone. And the paraplegic one was just sitting in the dining room, like scooted up to a table, smashing it against the wall, like and just groaning. And I assumed that he wanted food, so I got the table situated. I got him back, and I explained to him that I'm making him food right now, but I got him a little protein shake and a straw, and I just set it up on his table, and he chilled out. And I'm like, okay, where's the other guy? And I go to the back patio, and he's outside over the balcony, butt ass naked, just fucking jerking his shit over this patio. And the backyard is fully open, and there is like a school right across the fucking road. And so
Jesus.
I started like fucking panicking. So I ran into the living room, grabbed this giant ass like leopard throw pillow or throw blanket, went outside and just threw it over him, pulled him inside, and just told him like, "Hey, we're not going outside today anymore." And like he slams his fist like on the door, like on. I don't know if I can recreate it with my wall or not, but like Oh, I don't think I can. I don't think the camera's gonna go that far.
It's
But
just a
like,
thud.
you just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you. Like, you're not gonna hear any audio from me. I'm just gonna reenact.
Okay. I did hear that one.
So basically, anybody that wasn't listening, my man just ran into a corner, started jerking off, and then literally nutted and flew onto the couch and finished all over the couch.
Jesus Christ.
It was probably one of the worst days of my life because I had to clean it all up, and then as soon as somebody else showed up, I walked out.
Yeah. I would have left it for that and just hand him a straw, be like, all right, you're cleaning up.
Nope. I love working with like I love doing that job. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a two-person house, so you're supposed to work with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
They were just so understaffed that it was just one person, and I was just like, nope, fuck this, dude. I'm not doing it. I'm fucking leaving.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, I think it's an interesting dynamic that one can be, to be fair. You know.
Well, I loved it,
But
but like, oh man,
yeah,
they just were
it can be everything.
poor with their staffing. Like, had
Oh
they had
yeah.
more staffing, that would have been such a breeze. But keeping an eye on two, no.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming at times. Yeah, because I used to work at a memory unit as well, to where, like, people with dementia, Alzheimer's, all that, they're always getting into fights. There's this one old man, and I mean, he was out of it, obviously, but he was always saying, every time I try to, like, change him, because I'd have to obviously change him, people are relatively incontinent, and he would always say, "You're gonna kill me." That's exactly how he'd say it, and he would just repeat it.
As you're using like a Bowie knife, a pizza knife to cut open his
The diaper.
boxers. Yeah.
He's gonna kill me. But yeah, no, he sounded like kind of Jimmy Stewart, like from that Christmas film.
Yeah.
Like I'll get a rope and I'll throw it up there to the moon. And I'll bring you the moon if you want the moon.
Landy,
you know.
you can't take off my pants. What's going on?
You're gonna kill me. Yeah. Anyways, that was an interesting gig, but yeah, you live, you learn. Yeah. Okay. Let's segue. Let's hit up this next question that I got for you there,
Let's
bud.
maneuver. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna pivot before it gets depressing.
What's the real word I'm looking for here? It starts with an N and it ends with gate. Ooh.
Navigate.
Let's navigate our way to the next question.
I'm gonna call the cartographer right now. Okay. All right. So here's a question for you. Who was the weirdest coworker you ever had, and what did they do?
Ooh, it's a sad story, so gotta be prepared for it.
Okay, Kleenex. I need Kleenex.
Not for the flying cum shot, but for
Oy vey.
so I worked at a call center, and I wouldn't say weirdest coworker, but definitely fucking no, weird. Can you say the question again though, just so I have it fresh? Give it to me fresh again.
No worries. Yeah, who was the weirdest coworker you ever had, and what did they do?
Okay. So I worked at a call center, and basically I worked 410s, and I sat next to this woman that was like roughly my age, and we like did the same like training classes and everything like that. We didn't talk, and I had no idea. And every now and again, like I would just catch her looking at me while she was answering calls and just like throating a pen and just staring at me.
She was just literally
Just
putting the pen down her throat.
sucking on a pen and just like
Just-
looking at me. And you know
She's
what?
just.
It wasn't direct eye contact or anything crazy. It would just be like every now and again I look over and I just see a pen down her throat. And I'm
And
like,
she's just like,
yeah, no, not exactly. And I
more like
thought it
a.
was so weird. So I questioned her one day after we got off work because we worked the same shifts. Like, we always left together, we always had lunch around the same time,
Mhm.
whatever. Turns out for like 6 months, I thought this woman was just sexually fantasizing over me while we were at work. Turns out she
Mhm.
was just pushing out tonsil stones with a fucking pen while she was on the phones
Interesting.
with people. And I was like, that's got to be the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Doing it publicly, yeah.
I
That's a
much rather,
little,
I much
little
rather
much.
would have had it been like she was just sucking on a pen and pretending it was me. I'm like, that would have been much better of a story than you telling me you were pushing out tonsil stones with a pen. So
Yeah,
gross.
for real. It is
Anyways,
gross. Yeah, that is weird. That is an odd thing to do.
that's my story.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Matt, what
I'd have been
about
like,
you?
I don't know. I would have told her. I would have been like, I'll help you push out those tonsil stones. Like, what's up?
Again, Matt, what about you?
Okay. All right. The weirdest coworker I ever had was this kid. I was on the ambulance, but I was working in this like kind of like foresty town. It's kind of like a real rural like college town area, but like the hospital there wasn't worth anything. And so we had to always do long distance transports together. And so this kid was the EMT, I was the paramedic, so I was in charge of the unit, but yeah, he always had to have control over the phone. And he would always and perpetually come banging on my door, like banging on it to wake me up. And then he would like leave without me to go get the ambulance, and I'd have to go meet him over there at the hangar where the ambulance is at because it wasn't there at our little station house. And we would drive and whatever. And I would obviously do all the patient care because they're critical care transports and he's not qualified. I remember I was so tired, just so tired. And he's always telling me these weird ass stories. He's telling me about how, like, his girlfriend's from Mexico and he's going to marry her and all this stuff. And, like, she's like 20 years older than him. and the and the reason lizard and the reason he liked her so much is because she has the most beautiful, yeah, that's right, she had the most beautiful thick calves. So like it's weird, but I was just like, okay, let me see these calves. Like, I mean, they gotta be like
They gotta be
but,
fucking juicy.
but they weren't. They were just kangaroos.
Oh my god.
I was like, okay, yeah, that's. I don't know if those are calves. I don't know what the fuck they are. Looks like she's got two fucking
If
white
your
whales like
ankle and your
attached to her
calf
knees.
look exactly the same, that's a log. There's
Yeah,
nothing
she
to it.
look. You can like take them and start a fucking fire, mate.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that shit was odd. That shit was odd. But the uh the other thing though is he was always talking about weird shit. He's like, "Oh, me and my girlfriend are doing the 100 item challenge, so we can only own 100 items." And I was like, "100 item challenge?" I was like, "You drive a truck, don't you?" He's like, well, "Yeah." I was like, "There's a lot more than 100 fucking items that built that truck, stupid. Like, are you taking that into consideration? He's got a fucking bicycle. Just knock out your like first 5 items."
Jesus Christ.
I know, but yeah, I was just listening to him, and he always was some weird shit. And then one night I was tired as hell, dude, just tired. We had driven already for like 8 hours, and he starts chiming in on me with this weird ass conversation about how we're all like spirits and we all have some cosmic consciousness and we're all attached through the
Semen.
esotericism of God, and also and then he just kept going on and on and on about it, dude. I was so tired. I was like, "Listen, dude, I've been doing patient care for like the past 8 hours. Like, please, just let me sleep." And then he's like, "Well, why do you need to sleep? Why do you need to sleep?" And I was just like, okay, just whatever. And he keeps going and going, and he starts trying to criticize me for not wanting to participate in his conversation. And then I eventually just kind of cracked the, and I told him, I was like, Listen, dude, I'm not your mommy. I'm not your daddy, and I don't think that
Puppies,
your
please.
ideas. I don't think that your ideas are special, mate. And then he's just looking at me all, and then. But either way, but either way,
Mr.
you
McLean,
know,
can I finish jerking off, please?
it's like yes.
Dude, wild.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, that shit was a trip. Like, and that kid was the weirdest kid I have ever worked with in my life. And what's funny is everybody warned me about him before I ever partnered up with him, and I was like, no, 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 no. Like, I'll give him a chance. Like, he'll be all right. No, not at all, dude. Like, he was tragic. Like, literally tragic. It got to the point to where I just stopped talking to him. I just talked to the patient, got in the ambulance, and just went.
Dude, very valid.
I
All
mean,
right,
it's only fair.
what do you
All
got?
right, next question. All right, you ready for this one? What is the most chaotic thing you've seen happen at work in one day?
Let's talk. You better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet. I
Ooh.
worked at Annie Ann's, the pretzel place. Okay.
Okay.
I worked there for all of like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
First day on the job. So my mom, before she RIP, got me a job working at Annie Ann's because she knew the manager. That should have been my first like, something's up. Hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right. And I get there. First day on the job, I did my interview. I like got dressed up for a pretzel place. Like I'm fresh out of high school.
Mhm.
Just got done with like my first or second semester at college. And I am getting like a little part-time job for a little while. And so
Mhm.
I'm going in and I get like clocked in and I'm looking for my boss and I can't find her. And then I go to the back of the store, which I mean, for reference, it was inside of a Walmart and it's just at the back. And maybe 20 feet, there's a giant fridge, and then there's like the pallets of dough. And I see a woman just crumpled over with a bottle of absolute alcohol, like a fifth of it, completely empty on the ground next to her.
Jesus Christ.
She is fucking passed out. And I'm like Simba-ing this woman, like, are you awake? Hello? Are you alive?
I'm trying to lift her up.
Yeah, so I couldn't figure out exactly what I needed to do. So I went to the call sheet because, like, you know, every good workplace has like a list of emergency contacts in case of an emergency. I see her name is like the third on the list. I'm like, well, obviously I can't call her, so let me go to the top of the list. I'm gonna call this first number. So I called it. It rings. I'm like, hi, this is Tyler. Today's my first day of work, and there's a woman passed out on a pile of dough, and I don't know what to do. And she was like, okay, I'll be there in like 5 minutes. Call an ambulance, and I'll meet you there. I was like,
Mhm.
okay. And like people are lining up to get pretzels because we should have been open like 20 minutes ago. And I'm
Yeah.
just like waving at people, being like real polite, and I'm just like, hey, we're not open yet, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. And I threw aprons over this woman and just like fucking hid her so nobody could see her. And so as soon as I like cleared everybody away, I called 911 because Walmart doesn't have paramedics on standby. They just have that rent-a-cop that's about 400 pounds that sits in a truck and has those little flashy lights that just kind of
Yeah.
stares menacingly at people.
They just drive around the
Or,
parking
dude,
lot.
I'll tell you what, I saw one guy that he looked like the most jacked lumberjack I've ever seen in my life. I was intimidated
Mhm.
by that guy. But needless to say, about 15, 20 minutes later, her boss showed up along with paramedics, and the gap in the store is about 2 feet, 2.5 feet
Mhm.
on either side. And they fit a full gurney, like the paramedic gurney thing. You're
Mhm.
familiar with those.
Yeah,
They
the
wedged
stretcher.
that into the store, flipped her onto the stretcher, and then had to wheel her out, but they couldn't catty corner it to get her out. So they like stood it straight up like a fucking coffin and like
Yeah.
shimmied her out while she was strapped to the fucking board. And
That's
like
far out.
everybody that was in the pretzel line while her boss was making like pretzels and teaching me how to do shit, watch that happen. And I'm like still in shock as this is happening. And her boss looked at me and said, "Listen, I get that today's your first day and it's a little weird. So if you don't want to work here, I get that and I would completely understand. However,
Yeah.
if you do want to work here, I will double your paycheck for this entire week." And I was just like, yeah, it's money. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I'd be excited for it. Yeah.
But that was
Absolutely.
my weirdest day of work that I've ever
That
experienced.
is strange. And falling like she just passed out drunk, literally laying on the dough.
It's like just a flour, just powdered. It's just flour. Like it hasn't been
Yeah.
made in anything or anything like that. She's just straight up fucking laying on like a pallet of flour. It was fucking wild, dude.
That is wild. People are strange.
I agree.
That's such crazy. Yeah. What time of day was this at?
9:30 a.m.
Jesus Christ. She probably just pulled like a whole like all nighter, you know what I mean? And then she's just like,
Or just
she's like, all
pounded
right.
it right
Yeah,
before.
and if she did, she probably had alcohol poisoning. Poor chick.
Yeah, no
She's
kidding.
you gotta at least give her one of these, you know, because like you got.
She did not come
Gotta
back
have
to
some.
work. She was fired.
Well, no, I wouldn't anticipate. She probably lost her ability to cognitively think due to liver failure, but yeah, that's just the way that one goes. I tell you, shit's a trip. Well, that's an interesting story. Kind of feel bad for the lady, you know. Who knows what kind of weird turmoil she's going through in her own personal life that even caused her to make that decision. What can you do?
Listen, Quaaludes are a crazy thing. Matt, tell me about yours.
My Quaaludes?
No, your
I
crazy
keep,
story.
I keep them on the top shelf. And, no, I'm just kidding. All right. So, most chaotic thing that I've seen happen in one work day. Hmm. It's because, like, as a paramedic, I mean, there's a lot of chaos, but I think,
The most fucked up one you told me about was the one that stuck with me was the people that were ejected from the car.
oh, yeah, there was a guy, that got launched, like, out of the vehicle, like, over, like, a 16-foot fence, and he was a big dude, too. What's crazy is his body was, yeah, he was a big dude, but yeah, his body was, like, perfectly intact. It was nuts. I remember one day, like, it was nothing but just body retrieval, and that's all we did. Like, it was like it was Christmas Eve at that. Like, there's one, like, I had to, like, pick up Brain out of the road, you know? But I think, like, the most
Meanwhile, I'd be driving,
chaotic.
getting Brain on the road. You feel me, dog? No, sorry. Anyway,
I feel you. No, I'm gonna hit you with one of these.
be getting that
And so,
Brain.
that's right.
They call
But
me
yeah,
Jimmy
so,
Neutron because I got a blast.
that's the blast. Yeah, so I don't know, like chaotic. It's just like the back to back to back to back to back, you know. And then, like, you want to rest, you want to eat, but you can't, and it's just like nonstop. Like, it's just like perpetual chaos, especially when you're working like rural 911. So I'm out there like in the middle of this highway. It was like a head-on collision. This dude, and like he was like pinned in the car, but he was conscious, but he wasn't like aware, and he had like this massive laceration on his arm, but part of the door was like sticking up and out, and he just kept like dragging his open wound on the sharp metal from the door, and I was like, God damn it. Like, we had to like kind of try to secure him because he was panicking. I mean, that was pretty chaotic. It was because trying to delegate with cops, with fire, how we're gonna extricate him, and then to me that was chaos. Yeah.
Bro, at that
But
point, I'd be like, all right, guys, I need some sort of sedative so I can just knock this fucker out.
yeah, I can't though, because if he has a brain injury, that could cause a lot more damage than not. Sadly enough, you
Then
know
he
what I
fucking
mean?
dies a hero.
He didn't die, no. Luckily, I mean, he was fine. He was just kind of a little concussed and confused. But no, I had my partner. I stabilized the arm and then we wrapped it so that way he couldn't drag it on the metal. And I had the firefighters cut it off with their little clippers. Yeah, but still not his arm.
I was thinking that. I'm like, yeah, stabilize
Yeah,
him.
it's
Just
okay.
use
No,
the jaws of
but
life, and you just watch this man be fucking.
it's just like becomes like a
You just watch his
amputee.
arm just get crunched off. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that was a chaotic situation because there was so much going on, and like we were trying to be conscientious too because the other vehicle was a semi and it caught fire. So we're thinking to ourselves like this thing can explode. We got to get this guy out of here. The driver of the one and the semi he was fine, and it's just like son of a bitch,
Dude.
There's a lot going on at once.
Meanwhile, I'm just picturing like a fucking a Jack Link's jerky and a pair of scissors, and you just fucking cut the arm off.
It's just like
You're like,
no,
get him in the
no,
ambulance. We got a tourniquet on this. He'll be fine. You can reattach ligaments.
exactly, yeah.
That's a problem for the OR, not me.
Exactly, you got it. Yeah, because I mean the thing is, like, you just wrap them up, you transport them, and hopefully, everything turns out well, and yeah, everything goes smoothly. But he ended up all right. It was just like he was just like I said, mildly concussed and just had like a
He's just a
massive
silly
laceration
little
to his
bitch.
arm, and yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
and then, but yeah, but luckily he turned out good. So yeah, that was probably the most chaotic thing because it was just like everything was all happening at once. Like I'm trying to do 20 things literally simultaneously. I got to think like, how am I going to get this guy out of this vehicle? I got to delegate to all these firefighters. I got to delegate to the police officers to secure the area. I got to see if do I have the necessity to even call for a helicopter. I mean, it was like a lot of stuff all in one go, and I'm only running off of like 2 hours of sleep and haven't eaten in 2 days. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, why me? I'm like, like it's like I felt so down, like so tired. But either way, I guess when you're in those kind of situations, you just do what you know you have to do, and that's it.
Cut off the arm, move along.
That's it. Yeah, you just chop it. Just. I mean,
that's it. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
Just Indiana Jones that shit.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Matt, you got anything else for me?
I don't. I think this has been a pretty successful episode, and I think we can cue the outro.
Ladies and gentlemen, for this episode of Thinking Juice, my name's Tyler.
And my name is...
They call him Dookie Madrid. Where? Look at me. I'm Matthew Madrid. Where? I've got an ambulance. Where?
That was good timing on that one.
Hell yeah, it was, brother.